Hello students. Today we will study about different types of batteries and the difference between primary cell and secondary cell. Also, we will study the different types of wires or cables and PCB, printed circuit boards. Okay, the base materials used for the preparation of PCB and the manufacturing process of PCB. There are two processes or two methods for preparation of PCB. One is a manual method, that is a laboratory method, and second is industrial photoresist method, which is suitable for mass production. And we will study about a tag board and a breadboard for assembling any electronic circuit. For assembling small electronic circuits or projects, tag boards and breadboards can be used. As per the circuit diagram, we can assemble the circuit on tag board or breadboard. Breadboard is also called as a solderless board. So first of all, we will study about battery. So we know that when the cells are connected in series, when number of cells are connected in series, then battery is formed. Battery is formed by connecting number of cells in series. For example, if two cells of 1.5 volt are connected in series, then 3-volt battery is formed. Okay, so in this way, battery is formed. Okay, and this total voltage available across the um, battery is equal to the sum of individual cells which are connected in series. Okay, now we will study the difference between primary cell and secondary cell. So secondary cell means the rechargeable cells. For example, lead acid battery, it is a rechargeable battery. Okay, so it is called as secondary cell. And primary cells means the cells which cannot be recharged, for example, Eveready battery, okay, or Nipo battery. So uh, these cells cannot be recharged, so these cells are called as primary cells. So we will study the difference between primary cell and secondary cell. Okay, the difference between primary cell and secondary cell. So first difference is that the cell which can only transform the chemical energy into electrical energy is called as primary cell. The cell which can only transform the chemical energy into electrical energy. Uh, the cell which can transform the chemical energy into electrical energy is called as primary cell, and the cell which can convert chemical energy into electrical energy, or vice versa, which converts chemical energy into electrical energy, or vice versa means from chemical energy into electrical energy or electrical energy into chemical energy. Okay, is called as secondary cell. The second difference is that these provides primary cells provide relatively less amount of power. Primary cells has less amount of power, that is the current capacity of primary cells are less, so less amount of power is uh, generated by primary cell. And these secondary cells relatively these provides large amount of power. Okay, large amount of power, secondary cells can provide large amount of power. And then third difference is that low it is that is primary cells are low cost, means this price of primary cells is less than secondary cells. These are low cost cells, and secondary cells are expensive. Secondary cells are expensive and large in size. Okay. Now the weight of primary cells are very low, huh? Low cost, small size and light in weight. Primary cells are light in weight, म्हणजे हलके असतात, जड नसतात. Secondary cells are expensive, then and large in size, and these are heavier. Secondary cells are heavier. Then primary cells become useless when discharged. These primary cells becomes useless, or when these cells are discharged, these cells becomes useless. But secondary cells can be again recharged. These cells can be again recharged when these cells discharges. Again we can charge these secondary cells. Secondary cells can be used again and again by charging them. These cells can be used again and again when discharged. Then the examples of primary cells are carbon zinc cell, then mercury cell, silver oxide cell, or lithium cells. These are the primary cells. Okay, carbon zinc cell, mercury cell, silver oxide cell, and lithium cell. These are the primary cells. Then the examples of secondary cells are lead acid cell, nickel cadmium cell, or sodium sulfur cell, or plastic cell. These are the secondary cells. Okay, so this is the difference between primary cells and secondary cells. Okay, now the we will study the lithium cell, the construction of lithium cell. We will study lithium cell. Okay, this is a new type of primary cell. Lithium cell, it is a new type of primary cell, and there are two types of lithium cells. There are two types of lithium cells. These are lithium sulfur dioxide, LiSO2, LiSO2, lithium sulfur dioxide cell, and the second type is lithium thionyl chloride type. Lithium thionyl chloride type cell. So these are the two types of lithium cells. Then the open circuit output voltage of lithium sulfur dioxide cell is 2.9 volt and 3.7 volt. 2.9 volt and 3.7 volt. The open circuit voltage. That means if this no load is connected to this cell, no load resistance or no load is connected, then the open terminal voltage, the terminal voltage of this cell is about 2.9 volt to 3.7 volt, and terminal voltage without load, it is called as open circuit voltage. Then in the lithium sulfur dioxide cell, that is LiSO2 cell, the sulfur dioxide is kept in a liquid. Sulfur dioxide is kept in a liquid state. Sulfur dioxide, it is kept in liquid state. It is kept in liquid state. Okay. Sulfur dioxide is a chemical, and this chemical, that is sulfur dioxide, it is kept in liquid state using high pressure, using high pressure container and liquid organic solvent. It is kept in liquid state. Silver dioxide, it is kept in liquid state using high pressure container and liquid organic solvent. Okay, the shelf life of lithium cell is about 10 years or more than 10 years. Okay, other advantages are high output voltage, low weight, and small volume or small size. It can be used as a DC power source. For a cardiac pacemaker, but lithium is a very active element. One problem is possible explosive reaction that can occur without warning during the use or storage. This is the problem. So one problem is that a possibility of explosive reaction that can occur without warning during the use or storage. Lithium cell in the form of a small round disk, and it is in the form of a round small disk. Okay, now we will study about nickel cadmium cell. Nickel cadmium cell, the second type, nickel cadmium cell. This is a secondary cell or a rechargeable cell. Okay, nickel cadmium cell. So in nickel cadmium cell, it is alkaline cell. It is alkaline cell. So in a nickel cadmium cell, the positive plates are made of nickel hydroxide. The positive plates are made of nickel hydroxide enclosed in a finely perforated nickel plated steel tubes. Nickel plated steel tubes. Okay. These positive plates are made up of nickel hydroxide. Positive plates are made up of nickel hydroxide enclosed in a finely perforated nickel plated steel tubes. The negative plates consists of spongy metallic cadmium. The negative plates consists of spongy metallic cadmium. Then potassium hydroxide is used as electrolyte. Potassium hydroxide, that is KOH. It is used as a electrolyte. Okay, KOH is used as an electrolyte. KOH does not undergo any chemical change. The plates are separated by insulating rods. The plates are separated by insulating rods. The cell is available in sealed or non-sealed designs. Then output voltage of nickel cadmium cell is 1.25 volt per cell. Per cell, the output voltage, that is for one cell. One cell, the output voltage is 1.25 volt. Okay. Now the advantages, it can withstand vibrations. It can withstand vibrations. Okay. Then second, free from sulfating. Free from sulfating. Then third, it can be charged at higher rates, about 1000 times. These nickel cadmium cells can be recharged about 1000 times. Okay, it can be charged at higher rates, about 1000 times. Then the disadvantage, more cost. Then potential difference available is 1.25 volt only, compared with 2 volt for lead acid cell. For a lead acid cell, each cell EMF of lead acid cell is 2 volt, but for nickel cadmium cell it is only 1.25 volt. Okay. Then solar cell. Solar cell. In this type, photovoltaic effect is used. Okay. A potential difference is produced across the boundary of two substances in close contact when their junction is exposed to light radiation. When its junction is exposed to light radiation, a potential difference is produced. The boundary of two substances in close contact. The boundary of two substances in close contact, it is called as junction. Okay. So when their junction is exposed to light radiation, then a potential difference is produced. Example, copper and cuprous oxides are, or CDS, that is cadmium sulfide, and gallium arsenide, etc. Such cells are used in places where replacing the cells or recharging them is difficult. These cells are used where replacing the cells or recharging them is difficult. That is when there is no light, when there is no electrical energy, the places where electricity is not available, because for recharging electricity is required. So the places or the locations where electricity is not available, in these places solar cells are used. Okay, such cells that can be used where replacing the cells or recharging them is difficult. So, for example, in space engineering, for providing power to electronic equipments, in in artificial satellites, these solar cells are used. Artificial satellites, these solar cells are used. Typical output voltage of solar cell is 0.5 volt. Solar cell output voltage is 0.5 volt. For required power, a large solar array is used. That is, a large number of solar cells are connected. Okay, for required power. Okay, then we will study about wires. So first of all, we should know SWG. SWG means standard wire gauge. Standard wire gauge. Standard wire gauge. The long form of SWG is standard wire gauge. So the SWG numbers specify the size or round wire in terms of its diameter and cross-sectional area. As the gauge number increases from 1 to 40, the diameter and circular area decreases. That is, if gauge increases, SWG increases, then its diameter decreases and its circular area decreases. Higher gauge numbers indicate thinner wires. Higher gauge wires indicate thin wires. Okay, thin wires. The circular area doubles the for decrease of gauge numbers. For electronic circuits, hookup wires of gauge number 22 is used. Hookup wires of gauge number 22, it is used for electronic circuits. In SWG, diameter of wire is specified in cross-sectional area is measured in circular units, which is equal to square of the diameters. Okay, that is 1 millimeter means 0.001 inch. Okay, 1 millimeter means 0.001 inch. Now we will study the different types of wires. So copper, aluminum or silver, these are used as wire conductors. These are the wires or conductors. Copper conductor. So some wires are copper type, that is copper wires, aluminum wires or silver wires. These are wire conductors. Main types of wires are solid and standard. Depending upon the applications, we have other types of wires. Depending upon the applications, there are again other types of wires. For example, shielded wire, insulated, then resistance, and tin copper wires. Okay, tin copper wires. Then first type is solid wires. Solid wire is not flexible. Solid wire is not flexible and can break easily. Hence, it is used when flexibility is not important. When flexibility is not important, then this type of wires are used. These are not flexible. Solid wires are not flexible and can break easily. These wires can break easily. And the distance between points to be connected is small, then these wires are used. These are called as hard wires. Okay, solid wires are also called as hard wires. Then stranded wires, stranded wire is a flexible and less likely to break open, size of the wire is equivalent to the sum of areas of individual standards. This is a multi-layered wire. This is a multi-layered wire with alternate layers or strands. This wire can be specified by giving number of strands and gauge number. For example, 10 by 13 indicates a stranded wire of 10 strands, each of gauge number 13. Then third is shielded wires. These are also known as cables. Shielded wires are also known as cables in which two or more conductors are present. In shielded wire, two or more wires are present in this cable. So in a common covering of rubber or plastic, etc. Different types of shielded wires are there. Okay. Then insulated wire. Insulated wire is very thin wire and it is often have an insulating coating of enamel or shellac. The coating should be scraped off at the ends. Then resistance wire. High resistance wires are used in heating elements. High resistance wires are used in heating elements. For example, in electric iron or electric heater. Okay. Then these high resistance wires are used. For example, in heaters or in incandescent lamps, incandescent light bulbs, these high resistance wires are used. For such wires, tungsten, manganese or nickel can be used. Then tinned copper base wire. Sometimes a wire is tinned with a thin coating of solder. It is called as a tinned copper wire. Such a wire provides good connection. Okay. Now we will study about PCB, printed circuit board. So what are the advantages of printed circuit boards? What are the advantages of printed circuit boards? So first advantage is PCBs are useful for interconnecting a large number of electronic components. Large number of electronic components can be assembled on PCBs or interconnected in small area. Large number of electronic components can be connected as per the circuit diagram. Okay. Then it is suitable for mass production. Small components can be easily mounted on PCB. Then servicing is simplified. Then construction is neat, small, and work of art. Then by using PCB, the electronic equipment becomes more reliable. Okay. The electronic equipment becomes more reliable by using PCB. Then small in size and less costly. Now the base materials used for preparation of PCB. For making PCB, which is the base material? Which are the base materials that can be used for preparation of PCB? Base material used for preparation of PCB. So what are the base materials? So first is paper phenolic. Then second is glass epoxy. Third is epoxy paper, and fourth is polyester. These are the base materials used for preparation of PCB. Paper phenolic is less costly and it is used in consumer electronic circuits. Paper phenolic, it is less costly and it is used for consumer electronic circuits. It is more more resistant to moisture, but difficult to machine and uh, drilling. Okay. Then types of PCBs. There are different types of PCBs: single-sided PCB, double-sided PCB, multi-layer PCB, flexible PCB. These are the different types of PCBs. Okay. Single-sided PCB means in this type copper foil is pasted on one side only. The copper foil it is pasted on one side uh, of uh, of the copper clad by process of electrodeposition. By the process of electrodeposition. So base material used is either paper phenolic or epoxy type. Base material used is either uh, paper phenolic or epoxy type. The components are mounted on the from back side or other side. This type is used in radio receivers or in TV, that is PCBs of TV or PCBs of radio receivers or any electronic equipment. Such type of PCB is used. Now double-sided PCB. In double-sided PCB, copper foil is present on both sides of the laminate. On both sides, the copper foil it is present on both sides of the laminate, and the components are mounted on both sides. The components can be mounted and soldered on both sides. The connections from one side of the board are taken to the other sides. Okay, the connections from one side it is taken to other side using plated through holes using PTH means plated through holes. Through holes, the connections are taken from one side to other side. Then large component density is possible. That means large number of components can be mounted due to double-sided. This type is used in CRO or in microprocessors, microcomputers. Okay, such type of double-sided PCB is used. Then multi-layer PCB. It consists of a number of PCBs stacked together. Number of PCBs stacked together. These boards are joined together with adhesives. These boards are joined together with adhesives and insulation materials to connect conductors on different layers. PTH are used. Okay. Then flexible PCB. These use a special base material which can be folded. These use a special base material, and this base material can be folded. These are used in military and airspace applications and in computer. Flexible PCBs. Okay. Now what is the manufacturing process of PCB? How PCB can be manufactured? So there are two methods. First is a manual method, that is laboratory method, which is suitable for few boards, and second method is industrial photoresist method. Second method is industrial photoresist method. Okay, for mass production, which it is suitable for mass production, and manual method it is used in laboratory. Okay. So what are the steps for manufacturing process? For manufacturing PCBs, or for preparation of PCBs, what are the steps? What are the steps for preparation of PCB? So first is prepare a sketch of circuit on paper, or draw the circuit diagram on plain paper. Okay. Then draw the same sketch on conducting foil. Then draw its layout. Draw the layout of the circuit diagram. As per the circuit diagram, we can draw the layout. Okay, layout on plain paper. Again, draw the same sketch on conducting foil that is on copper clad by considering the points uh, then third, drill the holes to mount the components. Drill the holes. Okay. Then paint or the conducting area by oil paint. Paint the conducting lines. The conducting lines or tracks which should be painted. By oil paint, or also we can use uh, uh, permanent marker pen. By using permanent marker pen can also be used for to draw the conducting lines. Okay, or paint. Then etching process. For etching process, uh, ferric chloride is used. For etching process, the place this copper clad in a tray, plastic tray or glass tray, or uh, glass glass tray, or in plastic tray. Water is taken, and in water the ferric chloride is dissolved. Some ferric chloride, that is FeCl3, it is dissolved in water, and few drops of HCl, concentrated HCl, few drops, these are taken in this solution. Then for etching process, we can place the copper clad in the tray which contains the ferric chloride. Then the reaction takes place, that is 2 FeCl3 plus Cu gives CuCl2 plus twice FeCl2. This is the reaction. Then clean the board by using cold water. After etching, we have to clean the board by using water. Then remove the oil paint. Remove this oil paint by using kerosene. Kerosene means Rockwell or turpentine. Okay, by using turpentine or kerosene or acetone. Also, we can use acetone to remove this oil paint. Now the printed circuit board can be this printed circuit board is formed and can be used for, it is ready for mounting the components. Okay, now we will study about tag board and breadboard. So these tag boards and breadboards are used for assembling any electronic circuit, or for for making projects or for testing any electronic circuits. Okay, breadboards and tag boards are used for making connections as per the circuit diagram. The components are mounted on breadboards or on tag boards, and this can be soldered on components can be soldered on tag board, and only the breadboard is a solderless board, so only the components are mounted on breadboard, and hookup wires are used for making the connections. Okay, so tag boards and breadboards are used for assembling uh, electronic circuits for only trials. The tag board is a commonly used board on which a small circuit containing few components can be assembled by using soldering iron and by using wires. As per the circuit diagram, we can make the connections on tag board. Then breadboard, it is a solderless board in which ICs can also be inserted. ICs can also be inserted in on breadboard, and other electronic components can be interconnected with the help of wires. Other electronic components can be interconnected as per the circuit diagram. These components can be interconnected by using hookup wires. by using hookup wires. Okay, so there are number of horizontal and vertical rows, and number of holes are there on breadboard for mounting electronic components. Okay, and also this component, after testing the circuit, we can withdraw all components which are used for this circuit. We can remove these components from breadboard. Okay, so we will stop here.